doing a movie called Snowboard Academy. You recall all the Academy Awards that got. And we did an interview with him, and he was just so laid back and so friendly. And his physical movements were not those movements of Ernest. So you could see how much physical comedy he actually put on when he played Ernest. It wasn't just him putting on a funny voice or something or making funny faces. He changed the way he moved. So I had greater appreciation for the performance once I saw who the real guy was, and that it wasn't really, he wasn't just playing himself.
He was a svelte dude. Like he was like, yeah.
And it's one of those actors I wish stuck around, because I think he would have went a serious route a couple of times. I think he could have done a good serious role.
Oh yeah,
he was good as Jed Clampett. I didn't really love that movie, but that Beverly Hills Billy movie, he was really good in it.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right, Junkman. I think he's one of those guys that is such a good actor that he gets so typecast because people just think he's Ernest because he was so believable in it, but he was just acting really, really well.
If you want to see some good physical comedy, and Ernest goes to jail when he goes home and he jumps into his bathtub, which is a washer, but he does some really excellent like physical comedy, like the way he moves and he starts spinning. It's beautiful.
Isn't Ernest Goes to Jail where he played like there was an evil version of himself, right?
And that movie's actually kind of grown in popularity because they covered it on How Did This Get Made. But while they were doing it, June Diane Raphael, who's who's one of the hosts, she's like, Bad Jim Varney's kind of hot. So then and the theme song, they're like, Bad Jim Varney looking kind of nice. And so now there's like really popular things out there about how like, they're like, yeah, exactly. But it was pretty funny because she was like, he was hot. But yeah, so, that movie became much more popular after that episode.
As I was prepping for tonight, my wife was being supportive. And she goes, how do you think it's going to go tonight? Yeah. I said, I'm pumped up. It's going to be good. And I said, the only thing that could throw it off the rails, and I'm 50% sure it's going to happen, is that Mark's choices are all going to be Ernest movies. Like all three are going to be Ernest movies, but you didn't. You pulled out a Lincoln Lawyer, so that was good. And then your fourth pick was an Ernest to bring it in, so I appreciate that.
And if that's popular, you can do Ernest Goes to Camp with the turtles, the homemade catapults. You know, never do this to a family of badgers. You could have a family of badgers attacking Ernest.
Fun never ends.
Well, I'm going to argue that should have just been an Ernest line.
Yeah.
You pull from all the movies.
Yeah. I'm with you, Junkman.
I would love it. Give me that. I want
all. There was, now, you're not breaking any rules, Mark. You're safe. But there was an Ernest doll, like a pull string.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him right now, but I guess I'm kind of cheating a a because it was more of a talking doll rather than a.
That wasn't an action figure.
No, it wasn't based on the movies.
It wasn't based on the movies. You're so safe. It's fine.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
Because he was like the first viral star, because they would do those local commercials.
Exactly.
Especially in the South, they were just local commercials. There was no internet, but everybody talked about them. That led him into doing movies.
Yeah.
And wasn't he like loosely based on an Andy Griffith Show character?
He dresses like Ernest T. Bass, but he doesn't really act like Ernest T. Bass.
No, he's not drunk.
A funny story.
Oh, Otis. Okay.
Hey, I'm from the South. You got to get the Andy Griffith right.
All right. Sorry.
They take their Griffith very serious.
Didn't mean to commit sacrilege or heresy.
Yeah, man. You don't talk bad about Andy Griffith.
It'd be so funny if you're like, wasn't that Otis? And then Junkman just logs off. No word. How dare you?
I just want to say real quick, they did a commercial for Christmas where Ernest went to go into a Christmas party by Vern, and Vern just shut the door in his face. Like, it was a mean commercial. And there were so many write-in letters that they had to go back and refilm a 15-second spot for New Year's, where Vern opens up the door and Ernest smashes him with a pie in the face. Like, you don't get to see his face. He throws a pie at the camera.
I remember that.
But he gets him back for that and like, Happy New Year. Poof. And so Ernest got his revenge on Vern.
Like pre-internet, when it was just anybody can just tweet something because it's easy, right?
Yeah. This is like Snyder Cut, but 80s, late 80s.
You had to write a letter, go to the mailbox and everything.
Oh, you had to find a stamp. You really had to be committed.
But it worked. They had to go reshoot the commercial. They got so many calls and letters.
Find a stamp. Unreal. All right, Junkman, what's your fourth pick?
Okay, I've got some more popular stuff, but being that I'm on a roll with my B movies,
I figured
that was more fun. Yeah. So, got two here. I'm gonna go with this one again. Hopefully, y'all know this one because science fiction. I think in the '80s, sci-fi toys would have sold well. I don't know if the movie did that well. Night of the Comet.
Yes.
Oh, where all the parents disappeared.
And then,
I
the
think
two
it's everybody in the
teenagers.
world but the two girls disappear, which is one of the girls from Last Starfighter. So
Yes!
there we go again.
Yeah.
We did that on Movie Sons and Flicks. That's one of my favorites.
I love that. It was used on HBO all the time, and I used to watch it.
Oh man.
What I
Everything.
remember from that movie was at the end when they started obeying the traffic lights because they wanted to reinstitute civilization. So they were obeying traffic lights even though there was nobody there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could do the two girls, and they had like the people dressed in black, so you could be like your stormtrooper type where you could build an army with
Zombies, couple zombies.
Yeah, the zombies and stuff.
Brilliant.
I knew I loved that movie where she goes out looking for her boyfriend who was killed by a zombie, and the zombie attacks her, and the zombie's like, "Come here." She's like, "No," and she just levels him, kicks him, and then she jumps on a motorcycle and just storms away.
Yeah, so you could have came with a motorcycle, and I think she had a Uzi.
It was the Uzi scene.
Yeah, she had an Uzi.
But it was such a because right in a movie like that, just the way that we grew up watching movies, that would have been a kill in the movie, right? She just would have gotten killed by the zombie. So immediately when she just front kicks it into oblivion, doesn't care about it, then cruises away, I was like, I love this movie. And then the Uzi scene, oh, what an underrated gem! We need it. That's my vote.
Okay, so we got some great picks to kind of sift through here.
All right.
So what I'm going to suggest we do is we pick a top 3, and then
Can we go through the list that we had?
Yeah, I got the list here.
I'm talking about, can we go through the list that we didn't say? Just like
do it. Yeah,
for sure. Junkman, what you got?
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Or more mainstream.
Great toy line. Missed opportunity.
There wasn't
Gremlins.
a toy line for that.
There was no.
No, not till years later.
Gremlins. There was like
they were gremlins, but they weren't like humans and figures and everything. You know.
Like I remember I had a bendy gremlin at one point in time, but on the action figure proper line.
Yeah. Total Recall was on my list.
Oh, Quato.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because you could have had big stuff and then little figures.
Big
I thought that would be kind of
cool.
cool.
A big grasshopper and stuff.
Yeah. You got the regular size figures, like a big chair and a big table. And the other two, Smokey and the Bandit. I would have loved it.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
And
Red
Red Dawn.
Dawn.
Wolverine.
John Milius.
Imagine a Red Dawn action figure line.
Wow.
No,
Oh,
Sewer
that
Seven's
would be
done
good.
one, but yeah, they haven't done. They didn't do one back then. I don't know why. It would have been great. Could have had a place
so
where they
cool.
pop up out of foxholes or something.
But it could have been like a G.I. Joe style line, which is like it even could have been a sub like G.I. Joe Red Dawn. Like it could.
I guess some about teenagers with guns and killing people they didn't want to do. I guess.
Well, this is well before Columbine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So I think it was
the
movie. Well, the movie was aimed at teenagers and young adults who they figured didn't buy toys. It wasn't a movie for kids, so that might have been
first PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Was it?
You know what my first memory of Red Dawn is when I saw the guy wearing a Star Wars hat.
Yep.
And I was like,
that guy and I was like,
thing that I like.
yeah.
I'm
You didn't see
now.
didn't really see anybody in a movie do anything with Star Wars, other than maybe E.T. playing with Elliot playing with his Star Wars toys. Other than that, you really didn't see cross merchandise in a movie. And you're like, oh my God, he likes Star Wars too.
We would have had another Harry Dean Stanton toy if you picked Red Dawn.
Oh yeah. Can never have too many of those.
An internment camp playset.
Yeah. Oh no.
All right. So the ones that didn't get picked for me were Bloodsport, and then Steel Dawn, and then Robot Jocks.
Oh, Robot Jocks.
Man, I forgot about that one.
You'd have had like those big mechs and stuff. It would have been a real and because there was a couple of toy lines that came out like that, like Exo Squad and stuff like that. So it would have been a real neat kind of in that line, right?
Yeah, I forgot all about that movie until you mentioned it. I had to go look at the poster. I forgot all about that one.
Yeah, no,
That'd have been a good toy. That'd have been a good toy.
Yeah, that would have been some good robots.
Steve, what were some that you didn't get to pick on your list?
Well, there was the Green Hornet.
Right.
But that came out when I was an adult. So it doesn't count. There was another sort of cheaty one, which is the Black Hole, that came out with like a couple of really cheesy, terrible figures, but none of the beloved figures like Old Bob or Vincent. They could have had radio control ones of those robots. They were the heart of the movie, and they never came out with toys based on that. And I had zero interest in buying the bad guys, and when there was no good guys.
Pencil holder. He was a little orange, hard plastic thing that held pencils.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That wasn't an action figure.
No, it wasn't an action figure.
No, that was a practical thing. But those are really, I mean, the ones on my list that I didn't say were ones that you said.
Very good. Mark, do you have any shark movies you didn't mention?
No, but I was gonna pick Willow, but I remembered that I had Willow action figures.
I don't really count them as action figures. They were a little more like PVC and didn't move.
Yeah,
they were really small. I've had people tell me those action figures. I don't classify those as action figures.
Okay.
They
if you want to get
should have
technical,
been.
they had no play value. They couldn't do nothing.
No, that movie was so toyetic. It was fantastic. It definitely should have been an action figure.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't have. It makes no sense.
I wonder if they'll make
Especially with Lucas
now.
involved, as much as Lucas knew what the toy market would do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, I say if they would have had a good toy line, like a really good toy line, we would have got those next 2 books made into movies. Like we would have seen it continue in the theaters.
But maybe there'll be more now that they're doing a series on Disney Plus. Maybe there'll be some figures.
Oh, I hope so. They had the dragon. They had a full-size dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the full-size dragon was only this big because it was for PVC.
Yeah, you're right.
Like it looks impressive online until you get the packaging in.
I had the guy with the helmet. I had the 2 dudes, the skull helmet, and then I had the guy with the very impractical sword that was stuck into his hand.
I even watching it now, I'm like, how does that sword work to fight with?
I'm not sure, but I remember that. I was gonna add it, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess those are toys, so I didn't add that one.
It's funny. I run a kind of gag
action figures.
A funny Instagram account for my friend's business. She has a cafe, and so she has this thing, a Raspberry Square, and so I run this like Raspberry Square account, and so I just Photoshop stuff. It's hilarious. And I photoshopped a Val Kilmer from Willow image the other day of him eating a Raspberry Square, and I got some comments that were like, usually they're really funny. Who's this guy? What's this guy about? And I was like, come on, it's Willow. Get in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Everyone's a critic.
Everyone's a critic. Okay,
so what's our list?
So our list. We're going to go through the list. We're going to pick our top 3, and then, are you okay, Mark, if we put a poll on the MFF Facebook page?
Yeah, of course.
And then the winner of that poll will be the line that I make and include the 4 of us in.
Well, so let's do 4 because I can't run it. I can't run 3 at a time, but I can run 2 at a time. So I'll do 2 versus 2, and I'll have a final. I'll do a semifinal and that. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go through the list, and if there's anything we should just cross off from the get-go, we'll start that way. That doesn't make the cut.
You can take all of mine.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Mark, here for Lincoln Lawyer.
Come on, y'all. Josh Lucas on the shelf. No one's buying them. Come on.
No, that's going to be a Mark custom. So we have The Last Starfighter, which is a dynamite pick. Lincoln Lawyer, which was a funny gag. It was very funny, Mark. We all laughed, so well done. But I'm going to strike it from the list. Okay, so we got Buckaroo Banzai.
Got to keep that.
Good one.
Beastmaster.
Yeah, that's a good figure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Remo Williams. That's fantastic. Jaws the Revenge with the roaring shark when you pull the string. Big Trouble in Little China.
Get rid of Jaws Revenge. That's not going to win anything.
Okay, we'll get rid of Jaws Revenge. So we got Big Trouble in Little China.
Get rid of Big Trouble in Little China. It's probably too obscure for most people.
Well, I'm saying we have Big Trouble and Escape from New York, so we probably have only one Kurt Russell line. We don't want to have them competing, right? So we'll scratch.
I think Big Trouble in Little China would appeal more to kids at that time period than Escape from New York.
That's a valid point.
Yeah, with the
if we're
truck
doing
and everything.
what kids would have liked.
You know what?
Let's keep Big Trouble.
Let's keep Big Trouble. We're going to take out Escape from LA. Okay, then we have Cliffhanger. We have Chud. We have Deep Blue Sea.
Get rid of that.
Okay. We got rid of both the shark movies, Mark. There's going to be no toy sharks for you this Christmas.
Let's just release a roaring shark. They don't have to do a whole action figure line. We'll just release a shark.
It's the stuffy that you hug and it roars.
Yes, please.
All he wants is a shark. So
give the man a shark. We have Runaway.
Yes.
Universal Soldier, I'll cross off because I like the idea, but I think there's better stuff here than Universal Soldiers. We'll get rid of that. Battlestar Galactica.
You can cross that off because they did have toys. They just were crap.
It was a bit of a cheat, so
it was crap.
Ernest Scared Stupid is in there.
Yes.
Not going to take it away. And Night of the Comet is what we have left. So after our first run of eliminations, we have Last Starfighter, Buckaroo Banzai, Beastmaster, Remo Williams, Big Trouble in Little China, Cliffhanger, Chud, Runaway, Ernest, and Night of the Comet.
Well, for thinking of things that kids would have liked back then, Buckaroo Banzai was probably be above their perception. They would have thought it was just strange.
I was going to say that's the movie we have to keep.
Oh, okay.
Make
Never
your
mind.
argument